thank you, Michael, for those comments. I have to tell you, I was here last week doing a class with Jackie Doyle, doing an event with the DMA, the Darden Military Association, which woo, yeah. And also I did a podcast with one of the students we were doing, because we have this course called Character Traits, which Jackie Doyle and I teach together in the fall. And we were doing a piece on work-life balance. So I got back down to Fort Lauderdale, which is where my primary residence is, and I was talking to the concierge in the place where I live, and she said, well, what were you doing? And I said, well, a number of things. I was doing a podcast. And she said, well, what was the subject? And I said, it was work-life balance. And she said, oh, it was a comedy. Oh, my. Anyway. I get a lot of energy from being in this setting with you all. I get so much energy from the students and from the faculty. And it's so obvious is because of the collective efforts of so many people, the Darden proposition keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And that's because of an amazing group of students, phenomenal faculty, great orientation in terms of focus around the job and the mission. It's also about the quality and the engagement of the alumni base, and tied all together by the leadership, meaning the dean, meaning Martina Hamajan, leading the board, Michael Woodfolk, and many other support people. It's just very exciting and gratifying to see what it's become. I want to tell a little story about my own story with the scholarship piece. It's a brief story, but it's one that's interesting because all of us define different ways of connecting. And my own experience started very small, but with the help and engagement of many, it's taken on a scale and a strategic relevance and a sustainability that is far beyond what our initial expectations were. We began with a hypothesis, namely that the Darden value proposition was a highly attractive one for prospective students with military backgrounds. Darden offering a world-class MBA, case method pedagogy, the history and heritage of UVA, and the lifestyle of Charlottesville, Virginia. It seemed like we had a lot to offer that group of people. And these students had a lot to offer Darden. They're very motivated people with pre-existing leadership experience, people who are keen to transition from leadership roles in the military life to leadership roles in the civilian life via an MBA by Darden. Really fascinating combination. And this prompted us to start with a three-pronged strategy. One is a prospective and systematic reach out to these types of people, so it's not just random inbounds, but rather something systematically done and approached. An important person in this process has been Cheryl Jones, is here tonight. Cheryl, raise your hand. Cheryl? Yeah, Cheryl is in the, oh, there she is, okay. Who's been a phenomenal resource to making this happen. Then we had the secret weapon, which is the Darden Military Association, the DMA, which was, yes, okay. This is the largest, for you who are not acquainted with this, the Darden Military Association. It's the largest student-run organization at Darden, and they assist in the evaluation of the applications. They assist in convincing the best possible talent to come to Darden. And then once the people arrive here, they also assist those students and their families transition from military life to civilian/academic life. So it's an incredibly well-led, highly focused, dedicated organization that sustains itself through the natural, two-year transition that occurs at a two-year business school. And the third piece of this was scholarship funding. Many of these students with military backgrounds are married, and many of those who are married also have children, and the financial considerations are very, very important as an aspect of their decision-making. And we started small. We started with current use gifts, but as our program gained more and more traction, we began having more and more endowments. We had an endowment, a scholarship endowment from Gary Jones, who used to be chairing the development committee on the board years ago. And at the time he made that commitment, his son was in the Marines on duty in Fallujah. Another individual we had was Tom Watson, who made a large endowment, and this was as a consequence of honoring his father. Then we have Bob Hugan, honoring his mentor, Colonel Fowler. So we've had a whole, and Mike O'Neill. So we've had a whole series of these. So in this aggregate, these represent about $20 million of endowments specifically dedicated to the military. Now, that's about the hypothesis, and that's about the admissions and the turbocharger from the DMA and the fuel from the scholarship activity. But let's talk about the outcomes. We had this hypothesis, but the reality is the students proved it out. They proved it out. They proved how strong a strategy was for attracting another stream of students from a different walk of life, a different background, to be a part of the whole Darden experience. Not on their own or isolated, but as a totally immersed into the ecosystem of the Darden School, and they've done it. We have had, over the last 15 years, nearly 400 students with military backgrounds attend Darden. That's an amazing number. And they've represented, on average, about 10% of the class, and a much higher percentage of the leadership and academic awards upon graduation. I just learned tonight that we have, for the class of 24, it's hard to believe, the class of 24 for some of us, we have 38 students with military background beginning in the fall. This is an amazing number. One other experience I want to share about this is I recently experienced the full circle phenomena, which is an exciting, I didn't even know the term, but now I know the term. But the full circle phenomena in the fact that one of my Strangfeld military scholars, together with his wife, have endowed a seven-figure scholarship here at Darden. How about that? And that's the opportunity, that full circle of a donor to a scholar who becomes a donor. And that's what keeps this magical place getting stronger and stronger over time. I have to add, in this particular case, he and his wife did not, they were paying it back, but in their case, they weren't paying it back into a military scholarship. In their case, they wanted to do something for women in the admission process and in the scholarship activity, and that's just as great. It's just the idea that, the full circle is great, and how you choose to use it or approach it is up to your own interests and individual ideas. So for me, this whole description around the military piece is just one of my own personal experiences, but I can tell you, I have seen and met so many phenomenal people in the classroom. I teach a class called Character Traits with Jackie Doyle in the fall, and then some more cameo events in other times of the year, and I love the experience with the Darden class, in what goes on in the classroom, and I so admire how much of this and how much all of us are a product of the incredible faculty that we had the experience to meet. So I come away feeling very proud to be here tonight. I am so excited about our prospects because it's made possible by great students, a phenomenal faculty, great leadership, and now these remarkable facilities that are coming on stream as well, which are very exciting to see. All of which makes me feel very confident in saying the best is yet to come. Thank you. Cheers.